So we're gonna talk about tuning your car in Madout as far as upgrades to improve your car and, you know, customization and stuff like that, because your engine, based on the upgrades that you choose and how your suspension is set up, it really does play a difference in how your car handles in Madout. One thing I do want to get out the way first and foremost, the type of tires that you have on your car don't make a difference. It doesn't matter. Off-road tires, street tires, you know, whatever type of tires, it doesn't matter. It's all about your upgrades and your suspension. Upgrading, these are the main three that matter. You're gonna want to choose speed for the engine, for the transmission, acceleration, and then the rest of them I'd probably just do speed for, because they really don't matter too much. Unless you're trying to make a drift build, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. But as far as tuning, that's how that goes. If you're just gonna do a basic upgrade on your cars, engine, acceleration for transmission, and then the rest of them all speed. But let's get into the drift build. So starting off, we're gonna go with the drift tune. I'm gonna show you how to build a proper drift tune in Madout. Proper drift build. Starting off with that. So of course, when engine, if you choose engine, you're gonna get the most speed. Starting with that. And then if you look, let's say I chose, for the transmission, I chose a speed transmission, you still get decent acceleration plus decent speed, but we're going for a drift build here. We're not really after speed. We want as much acceleration as possible. So of course we're gonna choose the acceleration. And it's the same with this one. Like, you can do the speed, because if you want the speed you can do it, but with this build, like I said, we're after drifting, so you're gonna want to go with the acceleration. You want more of tire spinning than speed, you know, because speed really doesn't matter if you got a drift car. You're gonna be sliding everywhere anyway. So we're gonna do the acceleration on that, of course. So pretty much you're gonna want to do acceleration on all of them except for the engine. And then once you get that, you're gonna want to go to your tuning. Not your tuning, your wheels, and then your suspension. But as far as drifting and stuff goes, if you want more of like a looser turn, how I normally like to get my drift car set up, I'll make like the front as loose as I can, so I'll have as much height, and I'll loosen it up in the end, you know, make it look a little better. And then in the rear, you want it as stiff and as tight as possible. So stiff, no height, so that way it doesn't wobble. And then in the front, you want the complete opposite. Zero stiffness, extra height, make sure it's extra loose, and then just adjust it. It's glitched out, so you're gonna have to go back and forth to mess with it. With the offset, like I said, the offset doesn't matter too much. It's mainly the stiffness and the height that's gonna adjust the performance on there. But as far as the drift car goes, like, this is the best way to do it. Still kind of high in the front. Let's just tuck the rears in a little more and lower it. And that's good enough right there. And I'm gonna show you the difference. All right, so now we got the car. It's gonna change. Look how much looser my turns are. A lot of oversteer. And if you want to correct that oversteer, if you don't want as much oversteer, simply just add a little bit more height to it. So that way it catches it's hard to explain, but it just catches it. So we're gonna go to the rear. Let's make it not as stiff. Let's do like 28, and let's add like 8 on there. 8 height, 25. Let's try that, just to get rid of some of that oversteer. You see now my steering, it's a little not as loose as it was. And this is just rear wheel drive. If you do it with all wheel, front wheel, like, it all works the same. It's at high speeds, it's gonna cause a lot of oversteer. But look at this. Oh, damn, hit the cone. Like, look at that right there. Perfect drift build. Perfect drift build. no knobs or nothing. But you got to keep in mind with these drift builds, they're not meant for high speed, especially if you did the transmission upgrades on them. That's just for drifting. So with a build like this, you're really not even gonna have to use the e-brake too much. Just when you're steering alone, it's gonna be loose enough for you. It's gonna be really hard to control, but like I said, it's a drift car at the end of the day. It's not really about high speeds. It's about just sliding and drifting around. Not really the best for rear wheel drive. But even if you do this for front wheel drive, I'm gonna show you what that's like too, because the slide glitch is back, fellas. It still works. So let me get a front wheel drive car for you. Good build right here, pretty much almost the same thing. Let me see, it'll work. Yeah, acceleration. Yeah, see, this is drift build for this one, acceleration, front wheel drive, and I'm still working on it. But when you're doing drift builds, you're gonna want all transmission upgrades, because that's what's gonna help. You want acceleration at the end of the day. And even with these front wheel drive, it's the same build as the rear wheel drive cars, just the engine fully upgrade with speed, and then the transmission is just, the rest of them are all acceleration upgrades, because that's what you're going to want. You're going to be using the e-brake for the front wheel drive. And it's crazy that the front wheel drive, it has like, it's not really a drift, it's more of a slide at the end of the day, but still.